if you have a boring voice, you can do something about it. Growing up naturally with a very monotone, boring voice, so to speak, this is something that bugged me and played on my mind constantly when I was growing up, and something that I've been learning to kind of improve, and a constant battle that I'm still constantly working on myself. Learning how to speak correctly, concise my words, and speak in an authentic, engaging way is something that takes a lot of time, and something that I'm definitely still on a personal battle to develop to this day. In school, and even within the last 6 months, a year, I constantly still had people trying to remind me and maybe mock me somewhat for the way that I did sound. And this is not very fun at all, especially when you're quite a young man trying to navigate the world with all the other problems that you have to deal with. Being a young man in the 21st century, I think you know what it's like growing up. Whenever I'd listen to myself back, even in school, would do presentations, I would never really even want to do them because of the way that I sounded. And it's a big barrier, and especially a barrier to entry to do something such as content creation. I hated the way I sound, and I wanted to change this so bad because it was something that bothered me significantly. And I knew that if I'm going to start YouTube, I've got to be engaging to people. I want people to listen to me. I've got to work on this. So the only way that I can realistically work on this is to just keep making content, keep practicing day in, day out. For me, doing this is practice, and other people might say, oh, practice, I won't actually upload the videos, but in my opinion, that's not real practice, is it? Because you're not putting it out to the world, because you've not got the same level of accountability, in my opinion, because there's not other people watching you. You have that kind of judgment, I guess, at the end of the day. People are there watching you, and they're going to judge you whether you like it or not, whether rightly or wrongly, on how you sound, how you present yourself, everything like that. And for me, just starting this channel was a big step for me, and I kind of had the limiting belief that, well, I can't really do YouTube because I don't sound like really engaging and people are not going to listen to me at all. I had those beliefs, and I'm sure like a lot of people who know me and who knew me maybe previously at school and a couple of years ago would never even consider that I would be able to speak on camera. I could do this type of thing. They wouldn't have said you haven't got the voice for it. But it's probably what has made me want to do it more, because it was something that's kind of held me back. And this could have been the easier option for me, to just be like, yeah, I'm not very good at speaking. I'm quite introverted. I'm quite shy and all of this. But I always hate having those kind of things, like limiting beliefs and having something that's holding you back. I always kind of want to like smash the barrier down, and I'm sure you can relate to that quite a lot, because especially in this generation, a lot of people will tell you and try and drag you down like a crab trying to escape that bucket, and say, oh, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this, or just do a normal job, just follow what society says and all of this. And you know, at the end of the day, it's just rubbish advice, and we all know this. You have to remember that when you're telling a story, the way you deliver it is extremely important. And you take Americans, for example. This is why I believe they are a lot more successful content creators, because if you see a lot of the big YouTubers, take like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Mr. Beast, all these guys that are massive on YouTube are American people, and their enthusiasm and the way they kind of present their words and how they speak to their audience is what is so engaging. And I think this is very important, that you probably don't see maybe someone like a Scandinavian person who are quite very quiet and their voices probably aren't very engaging. People aren't going to listen to them. The way you like present your story is probably, I don't know if it's as important as the context as a story. I'd say the contents of the story is still important and more important than the way you kind of say it. But I think it is almost as important, and you might have a lot of really good information to say to a lot of people, but you don't say it in like an uplifting, engaging way. They're like so enthusiastic, like a lot of American peoples are. They'll be saying like the smallest thing possible, like, oh, I'm just going to take the trash out, or something like that. And just the way they say it would be like so different to compare to like British people, because a lot of English people speak quite monotone and probably quite similar to how I sound. And that is something that I think we definitely all need to work on, probably as a nation. Because if you go back to maybe my first few videos, if you've been watching my journey, you'll probably notice that I've probably changed up, and hopefully I'd like to think you've noticed that I've got better in the way I articulate my words, my enthusiasm, the way I present myself on camera. Hopefully you've noticed that I have improved. If not, then please do let me know, and I'd love to hear kind of your feedback and why you think that's the case. But like I say, I think there is a lot of people out there who think that because of the way they sound and they're not too good at speaking, that they can't do stuff like YouTube or content creation, which is not true, because I'm a prime example of kind of smashing that barrier down. Because a lot of people won't know how bad I did sound, but a few years ago, honestly, if I listened to myself, I'd probably sound like I wanted to kill you or something. And people who know me can vouch for that. If you ask anyone in my family, they all know how bad I could sound, especially on the phone. I just naturally don't have a very nice voice, and I have to really make extra effort to emphasize and try and sound like don't want to kill myself at the end of the day. So I'm going to talk. There's a few ways that you could work on the sound, your projection of your voice, articulating your words, however. But I think the main way and the best way that you're going to find progress in developing this skill, because it is a skill at the end of the day, and a lot of people, we don't have speech therapy at school, do we? You learn how to read somewhat. I know the books are a load of bullshit, and they're not actually what you should read, but they teach you the skill of reading, but they don't teach you the skill of speaking, do they? Yes, so maybe say you have some bullshit presentations where you go to speak to people in your class and you stand there reading off a script, but that's not really, you're not learning how to talk properly, are you? We don't have like speech therapy, which I think that's probably the next best way. If you're not going to go straight onto camera, you don't want to do that type of thing. I that's something like I'm considering, is getting like a speech coach. I think it's something definitely worth for me anyway, considering, because I see myself doing this long term. I see it as an investment in myself. And if you want to be content creator and see yourself doing this for a long time, even if you feel like you're at a good level, you're probably better than me anyway, I'd still recommend you doing it, because you're investing in yourself, and you never know how valuable that is. The way you articulate your words and present a story, you can tell, like, some people, they don't even have that good of a story, but their videos can like blow up and stuff, and you see that all the time. Their story's not even that good, but it's just kind of like who they are and how they present themselves is why they kind of get big anyway. And I think that by recording yourself and putting your content out there, that is kind of the best way to do it, because you're then holding yourself accountable. You're putting that kind of pressure on your shoulders, and we all know that it is through those uncomfortable positions that make us grow. And I wouldn't sound the way I did. I wouldn't be as good as I am at speaking on camera to articulate my words. And I really notice this in my day-to-day life when I'm just speaking to people. I'm just speaking a lot different to how I used to be. I'm a lot more confident, and I'm not saying like constantly. It's still something that I do notice I do sometimes, and I want to improve on that. But I think just doing this has really helped. So even if I didn't like want to do this as a career, just doing it and putting it out there will help you so much to improving your voice, improving your speech, improving your storytelling, which is so key, and stuff that is completely underestimated in how you articulate your words and how you kind of speak to people. Not many people can speak to people very well at all. If you actually listen to what they say, they're saying they don't even really make sense if you actually listen to what they're properly saying. And something that kind of, I look at people I aspire to be like. You see people like Joe Rogan, Stephen Bartlett, Chris Williamson. If you listen to a lot of podcasts, you'll know these guys. I'm sure you know who Joe Rogan is anyway. These people you've got to remember these are like black belts in the game of content creation and speaking on camera and speaking to public big audiences, because they've been doing it a long time, and they all would have had speech coaches and therapy, and they do all these a lot. I know Chris Williamson does like warm-ups and stuff for like 20 minutes before he goes on camera, and a lot of people probably don't actually realize this, and they don't think this guy's been in the game for like 20 plus years, of course he's going to be better than me, because that's sometimes what I forget. I'm like, oh damn, like these guys are so good speaking on camera, like I could never do that, and I just wish I could speak like them. But then I take a step back and think, hang on, these guys are like 35 plus and they've been in the game far longer than me, and I'm sure if I listen to them first when they're my age, they might have even been worse than me, and probably worse than you. So that's something you've got to remember, and it's probably a big reason that's kind of made you have these limiting beliefs about yourself. So like next time when you listen to these people, remember that they have had speech coaching, they've been in the game a lot longer than you, they're older than you, so naturally they're probably going to be better at conversation and know how to articulate the words, they're going to be wiser than you. But yeah, like there is something you can do. Like I probably haven't painted the best kind of story for this video, but if you do have a boring, you feel like your voice is quite boring and you don't like the way you sound, you definitely can do something about it, and that is content creation and putting your content out there and holding yourself accountable, doing it, listening back and seeing what you can do better every single time, because that's what I do. And anyone that's like watched my journey will know that I've improved how I speak and how I sound, my enthusiasm and everything I've mentioned previously. And yeah, so, and also getting therapy, coaching, something I would definitely recommend if you're seeing it as something you want to do long term. It will be an investment in yourself, and you should always consider longevity. That's something definitely to consider. So I hope this video has been quite helpful for you and maybe gave you a bit of inspiration if you feel like you can't do something like content creation, because you definitely can. Anyone can. If I can do it, I know you can do it. And remember that a lot of people you watch are not kind of who you think. They're not frauds, but they've been in the game a lot longer. You have to remember that. So yeah, remember, if you've got a boring voice, don't worry about it. Just work on it, keep practicing, and you will get there. And if this video, hopefully it's offered you a lot of value, if you could like, subscribe, I'd appreciate it a lot. Link below if you want to book a call with me. I can work on your mindset and your goals, and maybe if you want to get into content creation yourself, we can put together a plan. And yeah, I'll take care guys, and I'll see you